More than 200 million years ago the world had no roaring colossal beasts, only boundless all-encompassing stillness. As one of the earliest known dinosaurs, Yuzhulong carried the spark of all future prehistoric life within its slender delicate frame. Tonight walk softly in its footsteps and wander into the desolate wilderness long forgotten by time. Feel the primal pulse of the very first stirrings of life and drift into deep, tranquil slumber alongside its lonely silhouette. Some living beings are born simply to define a brand new possibility for all life to follow. Yuzhulong glided silently through the sparse woodlands of the Triassic era, never knowing it stood at the dawn of an entire prehistoric age. Its story holds no grand battles or fierce territorial clashes, only the gentlest, most restrained persistence to survive and endure. On this quiet night, let Yuzhulong lead you back to the very beginning of all living things and find perfect peace hidden within your own heart. If you could turn time back 200 million years, you would behold a world utterly different from the one we know today. Yuzhulong, a creature wrapped in quiet philosophical grace, stood alone facing the raw, untamed wilderness of a newly born Earth. Its quiet solitude and the distant echo of fate blend together like a slow, soothing lullaby. Close your eyes now and journey alongside Yuzhulong amid the soft, faint glow of ancient fern forests, drifting gently into calm, peaceful rest for the night. Long before the ancient world earned the mighty title of the dinosaur empire, vast empty wilderness lay wrapped only in the endless whisper of wind. There were no earth-shaking roars, no towering creatures large enough to block the sun, merely a profound quiet verging on desolate abandonment. Within this hushed stillness, a slim, graceful figure slipped through clusters of sparse ferns, leaving faint, delicate footprints pressed into soft ancient earth. This was Yuzhulong, a pioneering life form standing at the very source of time, wandering softly through the mist of unrecorded prehistory. Tonight let the soft, warm glow of flickering hearth fire stay with us as we wander fully into the untold story of its quiet existence. Even today, when we look back upon history sealed beneath layers of red ancient rock, Yuzhulong remains like an unresolved, lingering note in the grand symphony of evolution. It was the first gentle stroke fate laid upon the blank canvas of life, restrained, precise, and touched with a quiet, sorrowful loneliness that tugs at the heart. Slow your breathing now and drift along with ancient dust drifting across time, returning to that quiet moment when all life first stirred awake upon the planet. During the late Triassic period, 230 million years ago, planet Earth stood amid a sweeping era of grand natural transformation. This was the heart of the supercontinent Pangaea, where weathered red sandstone baked beneath the scorching sun, carrying the dry, parched scent of endless wilderness. Yuzhulong came into being within this barren, open landscape. Unlike the dominant giant prehistoric creatures that would follow it, bore no intimidating presence from the moment of birth. Instead, its skeletal frame was remarkably lightweight, with an elongated, slender neck and nimble, agile limbs, granting it the poised elegance of a quiet dancer within the primitive ecological order of its time. Yuzhulong stood as an awkward, gentle outsider, neither a dominant apex predator nor a massive, slow-moving herbivore. It lived like a quiet hermit, surviving cautiously in the narrow gaps between larger prehistoric life, relying on swift reflexes and boundless patience to linger along the edges of wild, untamed territories. Its way of survival was never aggressive confrontation but careful, quiet observation. While early crocodilian ancestors lingered motionless beside still waters, Yuzhulong glided silently along the borders of ancient woodlands. This quiet tension of existence filled every moment of its life with focused, calm resolve. It had to carve out a steady rhythm of survival through delicate, subtle means. Amid a harsh, rugged prehistoric age, its extreme sensitivity to every shift in nature shaped the unique, quiet, lonely grace that defined its entire existence. The changing seasons of the Triassic were unforgiving and brutal. Prolonged dry seasons drained the last traces of moist greenery from the vast wilderness, forcing Yuzhulong to embark on long, slow migrations steeped in quiet, philosophical calm. It wove its way between towering ancient ferns and newly sprouting coniferous forests, wandering through a quiet, natural maze crafted solely for its solitary journey. Thick layers of foliage offered little true shelter, dappled sunlight spilling across its skin marked with faint, muted patterns. Every turn along its path might reveal a foe far too powerful to overcome, yet it never showed any trace of frantic fear or unrest. It simply kept walking, steady and unhurried, its amber eyes fixed calmly upon the distant line where earth meets sky. Throughout its quiet life, it knew no bond of herd or group belonging. Seemingly born accustomed to complete solitary existence, its loneliness was never born from rejection by others but felt like an innate quiet choice, an emotional price it had to pay to adapt and endure within the wild natural world. The graceful way it moved through sparse woodlands resembled a fine thread, gently stitching together the fragmented, quiet wilderness of its age. Along dry, empty riverbeds it would pause, lowering its head to sip small pools of slightly salty leftover still water, and in those fleeting quiet moments the entire vast wilderness seemed to hold its breath in solemn reverence. We often assume all living things crave chaos, bustle and company, yet Yuzhulong reveals the quiet, profound beauty of simple, solitary existence. Its physical structure holds remarkable evolutionary significance, balancing subtle traces of primitive ancient traits alongside defining dinosaur characteristics. This unformed natural flexibility embodies how every true beginning is filled with gentle uncertainty and quiet possibility. When it hunted small insects and tiny ancient reptiles, its movements were so light and controlled they barely disturbed dewdrops resting upon fern leaves. This profound restraint was not merely a hunting skill but a peaceful, harmonious way of coexisting with the slow shifting tides of its era. The natural world around it began to shift subtly. Volcanic activity grew gradually more frequent and the very makeup of the atmosphere altered in quiet, unseen ways. Yuzhulong sensed these faint, subtle tremors with sharp instinct, slowly drifting toward higher, safer ground. Every choice it made was never driven by a desire to expand territory or dominate its surroundings, only to find a safe, quiet haven before the last glow of daylight faded away. This humble yet unbreakable will to survive allowed it to endure miraculously through waves of catastrophic natural upheaval. It would settle to rest within narrow cracks of red ancient rock, its long tail curled gently beside its body, embodying the most primal, innate posture of self-protection known to early life. When its long journey reached the quiet end of its days, Yuzhulong faced no brutal, violent demise. It simply faded slowly into the quiet backdrop of the prehistoric world amid localized ecological upheaval. At the close of the Triassic, the sudden collapse of the lower food chain cast an overwhelming sense of pressure over the entire wilderness. Fresh fern sprouts vanished, familiar migration paths faded away, leaving it to wander aimlessly across the barren, fading landscape. Its steps grew slower and heavier, once nimble movements dragging wearily across dry sand, leaving deep, tired marks behind. The scene lingers vividly in the mind as the setting sun dyed the sky a haunting shade of deep crimson. A single slender silhouette standing alone upon cracked high ground, it gazed one last time upon the sparse woodlands it had wandered all its life, the place holding every moment of its quiet solitude and unbound freedom. Its passing was never an end to life itself, but the gentle passing of a primal, evolutionary prototype. It bequeathed to the ancient earth the agile grace, lightweight skeletal structure and quiet, resilient will to endure that would define all future dinosaurs. Millions of years later, far larger, more powerful descendants would rise from this quiet foundational legacy to rule over the entire planet. Yuzhulong meanwhile slumbered peacefully deep within layered rock, remaining the soft, gentle, quiet foundation upon which the brilliant age of dinosaurs would one day be built. 230 million years is long enough to wear away towering mountains, yet never enough to erase the quiet memory of life's humble beginning. Yuzhulong, through its delicate frame and quiet, solitary journey, left a profound, empty space within the planet's ancient chronicle. It teaches us that the true meaning of life is never measured by how high one rises or how long one rules over the world. It lies instead in whether one stood awake, gentle and mindful, gazing up toward the sky amid a barren, desolate beginning. The tale draws slowly to a close. Tonight, dreams of red rock, wild plains and ancient ferns gathering softly around your mind. Yuzhulong's silhouette has faded into the mist of the Triassic, yet its quiet reverence for stillness lingers on all around you. Relax your shoulders fully and sink into the peace spanning across millions of years, feeling the same calm that lingered on that windless afternoon 200 million years ago within that distant, forgotten ancient world. Every living thing has long found its destined place to rest. You no longer need to rush or search. In this quiet, safe corner you may close your heart and mind in perfect peace. Good night, Yuzhulong. Good night to every quiet soul seeking inner calm and peaceful rest.